Hey guys, welcome back. Dr. T, living your best life here in the Philippines, and thought I'd do another video because it's kind of a really cool sunset tonight. It just looks, the colors in the sky are really pretty, so I'm just going to kind of let you guys check out the view and talk about, I think it's a pretty interesting topic, and will you regret moving to the Philippines, or do I regret moving to the Philippines? And I'll start by saying, no, me personally, I definitely have no regrets. And my apologies, I may have to step inside. They're having some kind of like festival or something across the street, so the music's a little loud, but I got a decent microphone, so I think you guys can hear me pretty well. And pool's pretty busy tonight. I'm just kind of pan that way kind of slowly, but yeah, do I regret it? Overwhelmingly, no. If you watched one of my earlier videos, my first 30-day impression of the Philippines, it was a learning curve, right? Moving from the US, where we're used to things very instantaneous, and a very modern society where everything is computerized and easy to deal with, and you could put things on auto pay. And here, the best way I can sum it up to people is it's like stepping back into the 1980s. For most, at least everywhere I've been in the Philippines, it's literally like you feel like almost like the internet doesn't exist. Of course they have internet here, that's not what I'm saying, but everything is so old school, the way they do things here, everywhere you go. And we're used to things being very different in America, at least in the last 30 years, right? So it's definite some adjustment. I've done a pros and cons, and I've done things like that, so go check out those videos as well. But do I regret it? No. I don't miss much. I really don't. And a lot of us, at least the foreigners I talk to, we kind of all feel the same way, right? We don't really miss much. There's some things I miss, of course, right? I miss certain conveniences. I miss meat. That probably sounds stupid to some of you, but if you watch any of my earlier videos, I was pretty hardcore carnivore. I like red meat. I ate steak 2-3 times a week. You're not finding decent steak out here, and the steak you can find is terrible, and it's very expensive. So I really truly do miss steak. Not enough to want to move. I miss good sushi. That's something I definitely miss. There's sushi restaurants out here, and I've actually found a couple that are pretty decent. It's not real common. I don't like the food in the Philippines that much personally. I end up cooking for the most part. So of course there's things I miss, right? And I could do some more videos on that in the future. But overwhelmingly, do I regret it? Do I ever stop and sit here and think to myself, maybe I should just bag this whole nonsense and move back to America? And the answer is unequivocally no, without a doubt. I have zero interest in going back to the US, going back to work, because I can be semi-retired right now. I still do some online stuff. This YouTube channel is not big enough to make any money right now, so I still do some online work. That gives me income, right? But it's part-time. It's very, very part-time. It doesn't take a lot of my hours in a day, and it doesn't take all week. So I have a pretty free schedule to kind of come and go and do what I want. I don't have to be online at a certain time or anything like that. So I have a lot of freedom. Where if I went back to the US, just because things are very, very, very expensive, I would have to go back to work. And I'd have to, keep a 40-hour-a-week job again. And I'm not being lazy, but I did that my whole life. I worked 50, 60-hour work weeks pretty much most of my entire life, and I have no desire to go back to that way of living. And honestly, there's a lot of things. I'm not going to turn this into a bash the US video, but there's a lot of things that honestly I don't ever want to go back to. The negativity there, the crazy culture that is kind of permeated, seems like a lot of society in the West, and the just crazy stuff you just don't see here. I talked about it in one of my other videos when I was talking about dating differences in Western versus Filipinas. I haven't seen a person with blue hair here, or purple hair, or lip piercings, or 1,000 neck tattoos and face tattoos. I haven't seen it. Maybe they're somewhere in the Philippines, nowhere that I've seen in the last 5 months traveling all around this country. So I don't miss any of that nonsense. I don't miss the culture in America. I don't miss the politics. I sure as shit don't miss the politics. Somehow that's become part of mainstream culture in America, where that's all people want to talk about. It's all political. So having said that, don't come to the Philippines and bring that stuff with you. I've met a foreigner here, nobody that I wanted to talk to, but he wanted to talk politics right away. I have no interest in. That's why I left. Not the reason, but it's one amongst probably 20 reasons why I left America, right? I don't want to talk about those things. I find it very negative, even when they pop up on my YouTube feed, because I used to watch a lot of that type of stuff, right? And YouTube pushes you videos they know that you watch. So sometimes I still click on them, just maybe out of morbid curiosity, but the more I watch them, the more, honestly, kind of negative down I feel. I start to be, it really has a weird effect on people when all you watch is negative nonsense, right? That everyone in America is a victim nowadays and everything is bad and so, the world sucks and woe is me type mentality. When you watch that over and over again all day long and it's pushed to your feeds and social media and whatever else, it just has a very negative impact on you, I think, honestly, as a person and your overall outlook on life. And the people here are very happy. Very happy. It's one of the reasons I have no regrets. You see people that have nothing and living in really, really poverty conditions, and they're really happy people, smiling. They're just happy to have what they have, and very upbeat people. They're not negative. They don't walk around saying how bad their life sucks and how everyone's out to get them all the time and what a victim they are. And they're not doing that here. They have a hard life, a lot of people here, but it doesn't define them, right? So I have no desire to go back to that type of mentality in America. And again, it's not every American. I'm trying to not bash the U.S. much, because I do love America, and I'm still American, and I'll still keep my U.S. passport and go back and visit. But do I regret moving here, and do I want to move back? No. And honestly, everybody's different, right? I hear stories about people come here and they don't like it. Of course, it's not everybody's cup of tea, so to speak, right? But you got to give it a fair shake. And I'm glad I did, because my first month here, honestly, I wasn't so sure about it. I wasn't 100% sold on it. But the longer I'm here, the more I like it. And the more I've kind of just come to accept the little things that are kind of annoying. Like I'll give you a funny example. I got back from Bohol yesterday. I've been gone for almost a month. I forgot to pay, or I paid the water bill at my condo, but they have this weird thing how you have to pay it. And then apparently, I didn't know this. I must have done it the other months and I just never realized I did it. You have to show proof at the office that you paid the water bill, or they turn it off. So I paid the water bill, but I forgot to ever go show proof that I paid it. So I got back from Bohol, being gone for like a month. I get back and the water's turned off. No notice, no nothing. I just don't have water. So I go to the office. Turns out they think I didn't pay the water bill. I have to show them proof that I paid the water bill. Of course, the person who was in charge of that is gone, like typical in the Philippines. Anyway, 2 hours later, after I show them all this proof and email people and text people and call people, and eventually they get the water turned back on. But they charged me 1,000 peso fine for turning the water back on, even though it was in essence their mistake. But anyway, I was pretty agitated, but honestly, I've come to sort of started to laugh those things off, where in America, like I said, your water bill would be on auto pay and I would never have to even think about doing it. Here, yeah, step back, 30 years ago, and that's how, like I said, that's how things operate here. But you can't let it frustrate you. I mean, you could, and you could say, this place sucks, I want to leave, I want to go back to America, right? But then you're, you know, like I said in one of my recent videos, there's no perfect place, right? This isn't perfect by far. But for the most part, I love it. I like the people. They're very nice, very hospitable people, very happy people, very down-to-earth people, very polite, welcoming, and the culture is nice, and the country is beautiful. I haven't posted a lot of my travel videos. I need to get on that, but I've been doing a lot of traveling around, mostly around Bohol, but probably traveled around more than half the island already, and it's been a blast. It's been amazing, and there's still tons and tons I want to do. And this lets me do that. That was my plan when I moved to the Philippines. I could make this home base because it's so cheap. My plan was I can make this home base. If I want to jet over to Bali for 2 weeks, I can do that. I got the money to do it. It's not going to break me. When I'm in America, I can't jet off to Bali for 2 weeks because it's going to cost me $5,000, right? The ticket alone will be $1,500 and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Here, it's a quick flight. It's a cheap flight. Right? I want to go over to Manila for a week, I'll do it. I want to go to Thailand for 2 weeks, I'll do it. I can make this home base, and I can still travel. I can still have a great time. I can travel all over the place, relatively cheap, relatively easy. I don't have to kill myself working crazy hours, and I can have the time of my life. That's why the title of my channel is Living Your Best Life, because that is my goal. Honestly, I want to live my best life and have an amazing time and enjoy myself and not work myself to death, because I personally know people that have done that. I worked with guys that, they had all these great plans. When I retire, I'm going to travel. The day I retire, I'm going to do all this, that, and the other thing. Guess what happens? They retire and they die 5 years later because they worked themselves to death and they were unhealthy and they're elderly by the time they retire and they can't enjoy themselves. So I'm still relatively young, and I'm enjoying the crap out of my life, and I plan to keep doing so. So 0 regrets. And like I said on one of my other videos, if you're thinking about this, just do it. Just start making the plan and do it. I said before, eventually is code for never. Eventually I'm going to move to the Philippines, or eventually I'm going to move to Thailand, or wherever it is you're thinking about, right? Or eventually I'm going to go to Bali. Guess what? That's probably never going to happen unless you actually start to make it happen. You make a plan and sit down and say, all right, it's February now of 2024. Maybe you're doing some research, right? You're watching this video, you're thinking about moving to the Philippines. Then just say, okay, January next year, I'm going to be living in the Philippines. I'm going to know where I want to live. I'm going to have all my finances in order. I'm going to have everything in order. And by January, I'm moving. Buy yourself a plane ticket and make it happen, right? That gives you, 10 months, 9 months to do this, to plan it and make it happen. It's more than enough time. My only regret is, like I said, I didn't do this sooner. I should have done this about 3 years ago. But, hindsight's 20/20, one of those type of things, right? So you don't know what you don't know. Now I'm here, I love it, and there's no going back, and I'll keep putting out info to you guys. And like I said, I got a lot of travel stuff I'm gonna start doing, and I got to go through and edit and do some videos on that. I've been doing some snorkeling and all sorts of things over in Bohol, and got to get that stuff uploaded. So like and subscribe, and all right, hope that helps. See you guys.